Being new to the fragrance world can be a little bit challenging. It could actually turn into a never-ending rabbit hole. Stick around and see how I'd spend $250 as a fragrance newbie.
I finally found what I'm missing, and now you got all my attention. Driving me wild, got me wishing that you were all mine. You're irresistible, so refreshing. You're irresistible. Tell the essence. Can feel your energy all over me. Close my eyes and I breathe in. You're irresistible.
Welcome back to Carolina Fragrance Reviews. I'm your host, Cam. Make sure that you're subscribed, activate that notification bell, and follow us on Instagram at cam.byrd. At the beginning of the month, Ashton put out a tag video where he had 10 fragrances and then some honorable mentions that tallied up to be like just a tad over $250 for a fragrance newbie. So I've done the same thing. It was a little bit challenging to find 10 fragrances that would actually fall in $250. Mine came in at $244.53, so you actually have enough change to go run to Taco Bell. $250 is something that could easily be spent on one fragrance. To come up with a list of fragrances to come in at $250 that will cover you for every occasion was, it wasn't like a daunting task, but I did have to spend some time in there because there's some that cost a little bit more, so those are the ones I'm gonna use as honorable mentions because some of them are actually signature scent worthy, but I wanted to at least give you 10 that would either come in at $250 or below. The way that I did my pricing, I based it off of fragrance.net with a 37% discount that they were offering this weekend. They do that on a very frequent basis. It's usually like 30%, 35%, or 37%, and these are prices that are based here in the US. The first fragrance that I came up with an honorable mention is 1 Million PRIVE. This is a beautiful fragrance. It has some tobacco, some tonka, some patchouli, perfect for fall and winter. It's a classy, warm, and elegant fragrance. Checking the price on this one is $40.29, but they also offer something at fragrance.net that I'm just gonna point out for this particular fragrance. If you spend $35 or more, they do like a soft credit check and you can make a bi-weekly payment with 4 installments of $15.27. So that would also kind of help, but this is one of the more expensive fragrances and the other ones are as well. So I kind of wanted to, share that information with you. So if you did find a fragrance that costs a little bit more, they do have installments. Okay, the next fragrance is a honorable mention that Ashton at Gents Scents actually mentioned also. I'm not trying to copy him, but I am definitely going to concur that this would definitely be one that you might want to have in your collection. This is Dolce & Gabbana, the One Eau de Parfum. Now, I do enjoy the Eau de Parfum. It does have more performance, more projection. This is a very classy scent, excellent date night fragrance. A couple years ago, this thing was like getting all kinds of play, but it is still a very, very good fragrance and you definitely won't go wrong on date night. It's got some tobacco and some cedar in it. It's just a real nice, warm and inviting, sexy fragrance, very masculine, and yeah, it's a proven battle-tested date night fragrance for sure. A 1.6 ounce bottle of this would cost $33.14. Okay, my last honorable mention is actually signature scent worthy. You could actually just buy this one fragrance and have multiple facets covered. It's Acqua di Gio Profumo. This fragrance has the original DNA of Acqua di Gio, but this one is a little bit more spicy. It's got some added incense to add some depth. It's got a little more spiciness to it, and it is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Any season, any occasion, it's classy, it's mass appealing, but this one for a 1.3 ounce bottle does go for $54.59, but in my personal opinion, is definitely worth the price tag. Okay, now that we have the honorable mentions out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the meat and potatoes of this. The first fragrance I want to share with you is Noble Fig by Ferrari. Now the presentation on this bottle is nice. It's a heavy glass bottle with a heavy cap. It has a really pleasant aquatic vibe about it. It has a fig note. This one actually kind of reminds me of like Corner Barcelona Fig Man. But it's, I mean, don't get it wrong. I mean, it's not identical to it, but it's in that same wheelhouse. It's light, it's aromatic. You're gonna get compliments. It's not intrusive, it's not really loud. This would be a great spring or summer fragrance, a nice fresh out of the shower fragrance. Definitely would be great for like an office environment. The good thing about Ferrari fragrances is you're not gonna pay the price of what you would for a car. This one actually goes for $21.41, and it actually does have, I mean, it does open up slightly synthetic, but like I said, it almost has a niche quality to it on the dry down. Very, very nice fragrance, very underrated fragrance. Okay, what I brought to replace Dolce & Gabbana, one of the ones that I felt would be an appropriate date night fragrance, is MIYAKE NUIT d'ISSEY. This fragrance actually has a freshness about it, but also has like a slightly dark and mysterious and sexy vibe. There's some leather in here, there's some tonka in here, and as MIYAKE, whether you're familiar with this brand or not, they really do a very good job with some of their darker fragrances. Out of their darker fragrances, this one has a little bit more of a fresher vibe than some of the other ones. This one opens up really fresh with some bergamot and vetiver. It also has some incense and patchouli and tonka, which makes it an absolutely beautiful fragrance, but you get your freshness from the bergamot and the vetiver, and then you get that nice tonka and a little bit of pepper in that dry down. For a compliment getting date night fragrance, this is a very well spent $28. Another extremely versatile fragrance that definitely gets the job done, whether it's in the spring, summer, or in the dead of winter, is Coach Platinum. This is definitely a beautiful fragrance that will pull compliments. Some of the notes in this one are sage, sandalwood, pineapple, and vanilla. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance that will definitely pull you compliments, and it's also safe enough to wear in the office. This next fragrance you may have seen if you've watched this channel before, but one of my favorite cheapies for spring and summer is Clinique Happy. This one has some bright mandarin and some aquatic notes. Just a beautiful, beautiful fragrance, and it's definitely got that uplifting vibe about it. It's just really fresh. And I can remember the very first time that I smelled this fragrance, a friend of mine was wearing it. He came in and it was just, cause I think at that time, I think I was actually wearing like Acqua di Gio. And he was wearing this, and it's been in my collection for quite some time, but I still highly recommend this beautiful fragrance. It's just perfect for like vacation in summertime. You can pick up a 1.7 ounce bottle of Clinique Happy for $22.04. Definitely worth that one for sure. The next fragrance is from Versace. This one is Dylan Blue. This one has had a lot of love in the past, and it is still a very valid fragrance. I would say that this one would be perfect for date night or a signature scent. This one actually, I mean, it doesn't have like that clubbing vibe. Usually the clubbing fragrances are more of like that, you know, it's either loud or it's got that little bubblegum vibe or whatever. This one is just, it has kind of a classiness about it, but it's still really, really sexy. This one has some bergamot, some grapefruit, some aquatic notes, ambroxan, patchouli, tonka, saffron, and incense. You can pick up a 1 ounce bottle of this for $27.94. The next fragrance I've got is Bulgari Aqua Amara for a 1.7 ounce. This one comes in at $27.94. It has notes of mandarin, neroli, frankincense, and patchouli. This is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance that is just really, it's just got a nice spring and summertime vibe that has excellent, excellent performance, especially at the price point. Mass appealing, you will not go wrong with this one at all. The next fragrance is from John Varvatos. This was actually the first John Varvatos fragrance I bought. I bought this back in 2010 of December, not this actual bottle, but the first time I bought this fragrance. And I actually was in Belk and I sprayed it on myself, and when I got back to work, I just couldn't stop smelling myself. For a cheapie, this one is fantastic, especially for fall and winter. I used to enjoy wearing this fragrance with either like a leather jacket or a suit, or even like a, like a suit with a leather jacket. This is that type of fragrance. As far as like tobacco fragrances or inexpensive tobacco fragrance, this is definitely one of my favorites. It has notes of rhubarb, tonka, leather, tobacco. It's got some spiciness about it. Very, very masculine smelling. I absolutely love this fragrance. Perfect for fall and winter. A 2.5 bottle will run you $21.44. I think I paid probably like 50, 60 bucks when I first bought that. So using the discounters is the way to go. And that's why these videos are great, because actually I talk to beginners sometimes and they just go and hit the retail stores. And yeah, when something's brand new, you don't have a choice but do that. And in 2010, this one had just come out. Give it some time though. If there's something you've got your eye on, that we're not talking about, or is something that's brand new, especially on the designer side, just be patient. You'll find a good deal at checking at places like fragrance.net. The next fragrance is Hugo Boss Bottled Tonic. I reviewed this a little while back as like one of the best office fragrances. This one is really fresh, it's inviting, it's non-intrusive. Some people complain about the performance on this. It actually works pretty good on my skin. And if you're looking for something like fresh out of the shower or out of the gym, or like I said, office, this is just a safe fragrance that you could wear like rocking shorts and a t-shirt, or any time of the year in an office environment, or just somewhere where you want a light, fresh, and aromatic fragrance. Some of the notes on this are grapefruit, lemon, apple, and ginger. You can pick up a 1.6 ounce for $25.82. Next up is one of my favorite from Lacoste. This one is Red Style in Play. This one has some apple, some vetiver, some pine, some cedar, some patchouli. This one actually has some really good performance and sillage. It is geared more for like spring, fall, winter. I have actually worn this fragrance numerous times in this super high heat. But with the patchouli and some of the darker, the piney tones and all that stuff, it does kind of give it like a little bit of a Christmas tree-esque kind of vibe or whatever. But I still love this fragrance. I think I've had it since probably, I don't know, maybe 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. This one is a 125 ml bottle that I'm holding right here, but you can actually grab a 2.5 bottle for $21.41. One of the most daunting tasks about putting this list together, first I wanted to get 10 fragrances and I wanted to come in at $250 or less, which I got that accomplished. The next thing is I actually had to go back and watch Ashton's video, and I wound up having to remove several fragrances so I didn't sound like I was just like copying him straight up and down. I did leave the one in the list for obvious reasons. It's a staple of most anyone's collection and like a perfect date night fragrance. Another fragrance that he mentioned that I actually removed just because he mentioned it was Versace Eros, and it was dubbed the king of clubbing. I found the perfect alternative for that. It is Sean John Cologne. Now actually when this came out, it was advertised as more of a sophisticated and more serious fragrance than previous releases, and that included like Unforgivable, which was pretty much like a Millesime Imperial clone almost, from Creed. But I actually find this one to be a little bit more playful. Now it does have like those date night tones, like with the cardamom, violet, vanilla, amber, tonka, all those, everything that you would come to know and love with a date night fragrance. But yeah, this could go for date night, but it also could go for clubbing because it gives off that sweet bubblegum vibe as well. I get compliments galore when I wear this one, and for a fragrance for less than 20 bucks at 3.4, $18.74, that is just about unbeatable. And I know like there's a little bit of division about how people feel, and yeah, it's the truth. Like most of the time when performer fragrances come out, they're not what they're wearing. They're wearing Creed or Roja or something like that. Especially somebody with the money like P. Diddy, Sean Combs. Yeah, this one smells really good though, especially on the cheap. Okay, so this was an open tag video from Ashton. He actually tagged some other channels, but he also just said it'd be open to whoever, so I took him up on it. So I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna leave it open to whoever wants to do this, but I'm also going to tag my boy Dan over at Scented Waters. I'm also gonna tag Mike over at 5280, Chad at A Gentleman's Journey, and Kenny the Fragrance Shark. If any of you boys wanna pick up this torch and run with it, and any other channel that wants to do this, I think it's a pretty cool concept, and especially helping like newcomers to the fragrance game, beginners, whatever. I know how crazy it is, and it is a never-ending rabbit hole. So what we're trying to do is hook you guys up. I will also leave the link below on Ashton's video, being like I said, like a lot of his picks were my picks too, so I had to diversify that. So check out his picks at the link below, and we'll leave all the other channels links below as well. That's gonna wrap it up for my $250 shopping spree. Remember, wear what you want, when you want, have fun. Subscribe to Carolina Fragrance Reviews, activate that notifications bell, smash that like button, leave us some comments down below. We'll see you next time on Carolina Fragrance Reviews.